I'm saying? But yeah.
What about you, man? What have you been jamming
so
to?
currently listening to right now. Wow, that's man. What have I been? Oh, okay, so I've been listening to Saba's "Take Care" album. It actually came out last year. But there was a lot of hype behind it. Like a lot of people were saying it was good. So I was like, man, I got to stay away from the hype. It's too much hype.
I told him.
Let me stay away from it. But then as of recently, I caught wind of one song and I just been listening to it. It's crazy. It's really jazz infused hip hop. I just love it. Like I'm really into the jazz, like Duke Ellington and like.
See, I hate when you
when
you do that. When someone will show you something, you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm not listening to
Yeah.
it. And then you catch one song or you listen to it a couple times and you're like, damn it. And then it's just on
Yep.
play. And you have to just admit it. You're like, God, everybody loves this and I have to listen to it too. Like it's just good, right?
Exactly.
And for me, I mean, this was literally yesterday. I like kind of just go back and like dig stuff. But I was listening to Dexter Wenzel, Life of Mars. I don't know. You guys could Google that and check it out. Dexter Wenzel, Life of Mars. But that whole catalog is just crazy.
What kind of is it? What genre?
It's jazz.
Oh, okay.
Like it's jazz and like. It's like fusion jazz almost too. So it's like it has all these sounds in there. So I mean, I just like taking stuff back and kind of just listening and breaking down sounds. So
of course,
I'm a little weird
guy.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
But of course, right?
I like taking it back and
You
just
have
listening
to
to
be,
stuff
right?
from back in the day. Because I mean, they say music is kind of recycled in some sense. So I mean, I just kind of listen to that stuff and
But how often do
inspired.
you catch little hooks from like old stuff like that, and you want to listen to them, people replay them all the time and make billions of dollars off them, right? And that's because they touch something. I think. I don't know, music.
It's true.
I'm
Very
a dork. Shut up. Drink, Scott.
No, that's very true though. Very true.
Now, in terms of that, and like all of the stuff, the old school music and the stuff that influenced you, and even the new stuff coming up. Now, how much of, and because I'm not too familiar with this at all, how much of a scene is there in Seattle and Tacoma and Federal Way for hip hop and stuff like that? Because it's not necessarily on my radar. But
what?
Yeah, I know,
dude.
right? I know.
How dare you?
But no, I want to learn about this stuff because I just don't know about it. Is there a good scene here? How are you guys feeling about it?
Man, honestly, we talk about this. This is conversations too. We talk about like every other day. But I mean, the scene is definitely getting better. I think what it is, honestly, what hinders Seattle, I don't really know too much about Tacoma because, even though we grew up in Federal Way, it's like, Tacoma kind of got their own culture out here, which is dope.
Calm down,
Absolutely.
dude. Calm down.
We got to check it out.
I'm just teasing.
Oh, you're right.
There's actually, not to interrupt, but there are some neat venues that just opened up. They have an all ages venue that just opened up in Tacoma. And then I think Alma Mater's doing stuff.
Alma Mater's doing a lot of stuff.
Alma Mater.
Who is the other one that does the all ages venue?
Jazz Bones? Is Jazz Bones?
Oh, they're a local bar, but they're not all
not-
ages.
okay.
No, it's gonna come to me.
Yeah.
Real art.
Real art. Oh, yeah.
and
The one down in South Tacoma Way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they do a lot of I would say more rock and punk shows.
Okay.
But I'm sure like you guys throw it out there. Like they're all ages venue,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So why not?
See, no, that's definitely, we're actually trying to get a show down here too. So it's like, because we're right up the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I mean, literally, it'd be more benefit. But I have noticed, like, with the Seattle scene, because a lot of people gravitate towards up there. So, like, whether you're a Tacoma artist, Kent artist, Renton artist, Federal Way artist, or whatever.
Well, they have the numbers in Seattle, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Comedians do the same thing.
Exactly. So they try. But the tricky part is that, it's kind of like cliquish. You know what I mean? I know we were just talking. I think I was talking to you about that, and then
I won't admit it. It's not recorded. It didn't count.
And that's with everything, I think. There's a click with that, and you got to try to figure out how to like break through with that.
Exactly.
And it's coming across some of the people that either are influencers who have been for a long time, or the ones that are up and coming. You got to figure out, who's pissed off who, or like trying to.
My man.
I was going to say where you smash your own way up, right?
Yeah.
And that's a hard route, right? But those are the two options. Right?
Exactly.
And that's the route we're taking.
And
Smash
and
your way up.
it kind of leans towards that, and I absolutely agree with you saying that, because even on your website you're talking
too.
about. Oh yeah.
We relate. We're kindred souls.
Oh, dude.
But it's something that I really identified with on your website was the all-in mentality that you have even on there. It's kind of like it's an all or nothing. We don't have necessarily a backup plan when it comes to this.
Exactly.
We're just just going to do it and see where it takes us. And that seems where you're going with that.
For sure.
Exactly.
That is awesome. I mean, and it's one of those things where you got to push yourselves. And you guys have been putting out a lot of music. How long have you been doing this collaboratively together, where you've been putting out the music? Because
you had a few.
Yeah, Loose Sight was 2017. But you've been doing stuff before that because you had a couple of other things as well too. So the first release, what, 2015 or so?
Yeah, Spring Exceeds when it was the first official.
Yeah. So what was like when you put that out there? Like, what was in your mind?
Good job, Justin. I just have to give you some credit.
I know, man. He's killing it right now.
Right? Like he's asking a couple of good questions, and he's like naming dates. And good job,
he's
bro.
Killing right now.
Yeah, man.
That's like my one superpower. It's like I can read stuff and kind of recall memory about it and stuff. And that's about it. But no, because you guys really, seriously, you interest me in the like what you've been putting out there. Because anybody who's putting out something on their own, you got to get some credit on that. And I want to expose to people, be like, yeah, it's 2019 now, but you guys haven't just started. You've been putting the work in. And so when it was 2015 and you were doing that, was there a sense of like, all right, now that we've done it, or now is like, oh God, now we've started and we need to keep going?
Yeah. It definitely was. I mean, so our first official project, Spring Exceeds Winter, was more so it was just straight passion project.
Okay.
Like we're not looking at anything else. These are the sounds we're influenced by. Even if you listen to it, like it's very jazzy and like it's very like instrumental based. Like Drew really killed the production on that. Like that really that really drives that project. But we had no expectations. We were just like, yo, we're going to make the best art-driven project we can. And then whatever happens from there happens. We put it out, and then we started to get some tractions, got booked for a couple of shows.
Nice.
And then we're like, okay, now we're about to put our foot on the gas.
Gas and go.
And, you know, and we haven't looked back since.
I would love to say, like I would love to be like, well, I am. Like, good for you guys, right? Like, I love that. Like, fuck it. This is what we're putting out. When we're going for it, we don't give a shit, right? And I wish we could be sitting here and I'd be like, you guys rode in your limo, right? You know what? Honestly, you see what I'm saying? Like, I love that. But on the same note, man, did I shut off my shit? I'm stupid.
No, you're fine. I just turned you down a little bit.
I'd like to see, I think you almost have to do, to a point, you have to do things that are people like or want to hear,
sure.
Right? And so how do you guys balance that? Like, it's a weird thing where you guys go, this is just too much auto-tune or whatever the fuck, right? I mean, I haven't heard auto-tune on you guys' stuff, but you know what I'm saying.
Not a fan of the auto-tune.
Yeah, come on, man.
No, it's honestly like a mind fuck, to be honest with you. The real puzzle in the music industry, I mean, people, if you're listening, because we're going through it right now, is trying to find how to incorporate what you do into what is the new sound right now, but still keep it authentic to what you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you see a couple artists that will blow off a sound, locally or, worldwide. And then the next year they're not here. But it's because they lost that core fan base while they were chasing this certain thing. So it's like certain artists, through the years have mastered that. And that's why they keep on reinventing themselves, right? They keep on coming with hits and hits and hits or classic albums. And it's just because they've learned how to take what they're doing. Never compromise that. This is what I'm doing, period. I don't care if anybody else starts doing something. This is me. But I'm willing to take this sound or this auto-tune or whatever and finesse it and make it mine.
Auto-tune made a lot of people a lot of money.
It made them a lot of money. It still makes a couple people a lot of money. But it's like it's not chasing the fads, but kind of incorporating into what you are. Exactly.
That's what it is. And what's crazy about that, we call it, and I've heard it said a couple of times, but it's like putting the medicine in the candy.
Yeah.
Right? Like if
that's a good analogy with that.
Exactly, because it's like if you go to artsy, you go over people's heads, right? But if you're chasing the sound, people can tell. People can tell when you're reaching. So it's just really hard trying to find the balance, and only a few people do it. We really try to do that, but the key is never to get lost. Just like my brother said, never lose your sound.
Or even going so far into rejecting all of that. I'm going to make my own art and do that. And I've seen some bands that do that. They have an amazing first or second album, and then I will follow whatever I want to because it's more about their own personal exploration.
Exactly.
And that's fine, but you got to make sure that those first two albums were able to be a good base that you can do that for a while.
Then you get freedom, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you think that comes with money, right? Like once you sell enough albums, you have enough money coming in, all of a sudden you're just free
absolutely
to just go
for sure.
Like I want to make this crazy whatever art installation over
1,000%.
Exactly.
And it's like building that fan base too, because if you think about Amy Winehouse, like Amy Winehouse is like a god to us. It started with this guy. He infected all of us. But Amy Winehouse is like a legend to us, but she never compromised her sound, and she did a specific sound too.
Absolutely.
But it's because her first 2 albums were so like Etta James, like, and you know, just something we haven't heard in decades.
Well, honestly, like that, I had no idea, like looking at her, that sound came out of that girl.
Yes, that's
right?
part of the appeal, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
hear the music and then you see her and you're like, oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, what was that other lady that was like from? She won an award. She was from the UK. She made her.
I know there was Duffy. There was a couple.
Well,
of
there was a white.
Leona.
A white
I know you
lady.
talk about those.
Susan
saying
Boyle?
hello.
Yeah,
Also-
she was
yeah,
she was ugly as balls, and no one listened to her.
Oh,
sorry.
Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
Susan Boyle
See,
from
he
like
nailed
the
her.
Britain's Got Talent sort
You
of thing.
guys both know
Creased
her.
her.
You guys, come on, man.
But that's that appeal too. Yeah, it's like they was like if you don't expect that to come out, and suddenly it's an opera singer coming from like some
Right.
nobody.
It's
I think the
Yeah.
difference, though, Amy Winehouse, beautiful woman, right?
For sure.
You see the other one, and you're like, eh. And I'm not saying bad things, but like that, she didn't sell as much, right? Like there's something to be said about
Amazing
don't know.
voice though, but
Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
dude,
hey,
she kills it.
Hey, she came back for the America's Got Talent
Look,
championship.
I'm not pretty. I'm not saying that I have anything on this lady, right? And she's way more talented than me. I'm just saying that there has to be, like, there's some kind of aesthetic there, right?
Grit
Gotta-
City, ladies and gentlemen.
Only here.
Yeah, we're starting feuds with British women, British middle-aged women.
She's not mad.
She's probably not. You guys were talking about live shows and stuff like that, and you've got some that have come past and are coming up. What's going on when people attend a live show? That what you guys are doing? Is it just the three of you up there doing stuff, or how do you guys go about all this?
That's a good question.
Oh, thank you.
Drew got this.
You got that, Jim?
You got
Oh
it.
yeah. So I mean, they're the performers, so they're up there doing the performance. I usually handle the behind the scenes as always. You know, like just but mostly.
Thank
you. Man, as far as the process, it's. I mean, how can I put it? So when we get there, I mean, it's usually just them getting in the zone kind of thing. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah,
Obviously, you gotta
yeah.
get in the zone. You don't want to really like interact too much with the fans before the show. So it's just kind of getting in the zone and then just focusing on what needs to be handled, and just going out there and performing, and then just interacting with the crowd as you perform, because you want to also kind of just be one with them, not just I'm
Nice.
here to perform and then get the hell out. You
All
know what
right,
I'm saying?
cool.
Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, that makes
That's,
sense.
just you definitely want to connect with the fans. So any aspects that we try, every aspect that we try to do is always about connecting with the fans.
That is awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of energy. If you come to a New Track City show, you're going to be tired when you leave. Okay. and
Tired and sweaty.
Yeah. And another rule is you can't act too cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can't
And
just
if
be
you
sitting
act-
against
yeah,
their
can't be
legs.
bougie.
Yeah, we gonna call you out.
Yeah.
Don't be
So I'm
coming
not
in
allowed
acting
to
too
show
Really?
up.
Have
cool.
you called people out?
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we do.
You gotta tell me what happened then. Like, like
Well, they
Man.
usually start moving around.
Yeah. Like, hey man, everybody in the back, we see y'all. You right there. Nah, I'm
Yeah.
playing. We don't do
You
that.
know what? So growing up, heavy metal, right? Loved heavy metal growing up, and that was one of my favorite things. Like I remember seeing Anthrax and Pantera way back in the day, and
Yeah.
that was the thing. They're like, if you're on the cement, you need to be moving, right?
sure.
Right.
And people would go, they just go nuts, right?
Yeah.
And so people should be moving. They're at a concert. Have a
Exactly.
good
There you
time.
go. You
Yeah.
paid money.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You can go stand at your wall at home. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got.
well, and that's one of those things. Like, it's even going to like a sporting event or a concert or anything. Like, you're not going to hear like a lot of the times people going, oh, it didn't sound like it did on the CD. Well, no shit. Like, this is how this stuff works out. You're
Right.
going to see. It's like, oh, I could have seen it better on the TV. It's like, sure, you could have, but you're going there for the experience
Experience.
of the,
Stay home then, bitch.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But it's like the.
Sorry. I just, fuck, sorry.
Well
How
said.
many beers have you had there, Scott?
2.
Yeah, you
Stone
can-
Cold Steve Austin over here.
I know.
Knocking it back.
Sorry.
Give me a hell yeah.
But it comes along. It's like you hope the crowd has got the vibe, because then at that point, if someone's sitting there being too cool, you're like, no, get up and move around,
Yeah.
because it's going to help you guys, which is going to
Exactly.
feed into them. And it's going to be a whole room.
Exactly. I was about to say that. Like, man, we just had a show 2 days ago, and it was at it was the Crocodile.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, nice. I just recently went there for the first time. Like, I've lived in like this area for almost my entire life. It
Okay.
was the first time I went to that venue. That venue is fucking
Bro,
amazing.
legends. Nirvana was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like so much legends in there. You see like their signatures on the wall in the back and stuff like that. It's crazy. But yeah, we had a show up there, and it's crazy. The crowd was like lit. Like, shout out to the Crocodile, man. Y'all killed it. Shout out to Zulu Nation. That was
Nice.
amazing. And it's like when the crowd gives you that energy, it's like, oh, I have no choice but to give this energy back times 10.
I
Yeah.
literally had to hold myself back from jumping in there.
Oh, you almost did a stage
I almost did. I
dive.
thought about it, but then I was like, this might not
It
be
was
good for
late.
business.
How cool is that, man? Sorry, I'm just a little jealous right now, honestly. Like you performed at a place like legends have performed, right? There's got to be magic. Like you just walking
Oh,
back
it
there
was.
going, "Oh my god!"
Bro,
Like who gets the chance to do that? Honestly,
Exactly.
like every once in a while, stop and think about it, right? Like I have to doing this. Like we meet some of the neatest people. Well, earlier when we were wandering around, like I said, like when would we ever hang out?
That's
We'd never hang out, right?
exactly true.
If we didn't do this, it
Yeah.
would
And
never
that's
happen,
and
right?
that's literally the reason why, like, I'm so glad you guys shot us an email just looking for a little bit of promotion because you guys are fucking cool, and I'm like really glad that you guys even like were able to figure out how the hell they get in contact with us.
like professional musicians. I have to say this
we're
again.
somewhat crafty a little bit.
All right. We will make our way in your inboxes.
Dude, honestly, well, the guy I talked about earlier, what's his name? You said it earlier. The
Which
Taylor
what?
guy?
Josh Turner.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like one of our
So-
highest downloaded episodes.
Yes, that dude. Same thing with that guy, man. Like honestly, he's taken his career in his own hands, right? Like he's not he's not selling like albums. He's actually writing his music, trying to be like soundtracks to movies and TV shows.
wow.
And,
That's
And like theme songs
Yeah,
for some
that's
of
dope.
that.
That's
right.
Wow.
To me, it was a totally different way to think about music. Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I see something and I kind of write a song to go that way, and then hopefully it sells. Right.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
very
it's
dope.
brilliant. Right.
Yeah, it's very dope.
Man, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
man.
he's taken his own career. He's reaching out to people. He's getting on podcasts. He advertise. I don't want to say advertises, but he is on Facebook more than anybody I know.
Really? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's he does that because he also he's incorporated music again, like with you guys with All In. He teaches music.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
He does a lot of local stuff, and it was just like he did the touring back in the day, and he's a little bit older, and he's got a kid now, and he realizes he can't really necessarily do that life anymore.
Right.
And so he just keeps pushing it. It's like what you guys are doing. You just keep pushing it, keep touring, keep doing your stuff around here.
For sure.
Have you guys looked at doing anything touring more beyond like the Pacific Northwest sort of thing? Are you looking into that?
It's for sure. Actually, it's funny you say that. We've been to Los Angeles twice.
Oh,
We've done a
really?
show there twice.
So what's LA like? Like the hip hop scene down there, like performing down there.
So it's magical. The people there, it's interesting because there's a lot of people trying to do it though. So it's like wow, like the competition level there is it's top notch.
I've kind of looked at trying to do like audio stuff down there, and it's like there's a billion people.
Yeah,
like
they're all-
Competition.
yeah. I do some stuff for some comedians down there, but it's literally just editing their podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like one person calls me up and is like trying to, it's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Can I get you down in the studio? And I'm like, I'm in Tacoma, man. There's like, unless you're going to travel like a whole thing and like record in my
sure.
garage. Like, I don't think you
And
want
it's a
this.
no-go.
Yeah.
yeah. But the people are incredible
Yeah,
though.
the
Like
people.
the music lovers, they know their stuff.
Bro, when you
know?
when you just stop and talk to people, like that's the thing. If you want to go to LA, you have to be willing to talk to people.
Yes.
Because you never know who you'll meet, and B,
That's a good point.
yeah, people always tell you the most craziest stories. Like, yo, I would have never expected this from this short girl walking. She's like, yeah, I used to background sing for Ariana Grande and blah blah blah. I didn't hear. I've been to the Grammys. I did. You're like, well, I would have never known if I would have just stopped to talk to her. And like, that's how these connections are built too.
For sure.
And that's and it's a hard thing to do, especially in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of, you hear the Seattle freeze, which is
Oh,
an
it's a real thing.
absolute real thing.
1,000%.
But then you come down to Tacoma, and it is the opposite. People will talk to you no matter
sure.
what, no matter how much you don't want to talk to them about whatever they don't want to talk to you. Like they're talking to you about whatever. It's like the most random stuff,
sure.
like forever, and it's like the complete polar opposite.
yes.
So it's hard for me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm with you. I'm a little biased too. I have an affinity for Tacoma because I went to school here. I went to college here.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually went to UW just right.
Oh,
now.
nice. All right, perfect.
Yeah, and that's when I was just like, man, I love this place because it's different from what I'm used to. Like we've done so much shows in Seattle. I come here, I tell people I make music. They're all ears. They listen. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's completely different, and I love that. Yeah.
That was we had some of the people we were talking with here, the Grit City Magazine people. It was just like you want, and they're even saying it's like you go and talk to people and be nice to people because
Right.
you don't again realize who's doing what.
For sure.
And in Tacoma, everybody knows everyone in this weird way. And it was, I've been so surprised when someone's come up and they'll be like, oh yeah, we talked to somebody who was already on your podcast and they said good luck, and we're like, uh-oh, what does that mean? Like, you know, you just gotta get into
how
that.
we get down over here.
Right, yeah. And so it's like just going out there and putting yourself out there is hard in itself, but then even just talking to people afterwards, after shows, you don't know who knows who.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's that love too, like for the people who are supporting you, man. Like honestly, Tacoma got this weird stigma on it. Like being from Federal Way, like growing up in that area too. Tacoma does have a weird stigma, but once you actually get here and you talk to the people, and I mean, we're here filming a podcast, man.
Yeah.
Like this is dope. You know what I mean?
And that's the fun part too, because like in Tacoma, you're in this building that was built in 1888.
Exactly.
I was giving you guys a little bit of a history of this,
crazy.
and like just how weird and new old Tacoma is, and how they've decided not to tear down all the stuff but reincorporate all of these fun things into it. There's a character here, and it's one of those ones that we love to learn about, but we love to expose people to as well.
Right.
It's dope.
This building was built in 1888.
That's just
Right.
even insane.
Like,
Even hearing you
thinking
say
about
that, I'm like, whoa.
Right. We walked through it all. Well, we
Nuts.
did. Right. Gave you the tour,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
As
yeah.
we walked through it. And it's the
Right.
creepiest, weirdest,
It's crazy.
coolest ass building, right? Ever.
Yeah.
I wish we could wander through
I'm trying to do the math. It's not working. I think 140 years.
You know what
maybe?
I was going to
don't
bring up
fucking
with
know anymore.
Grit City Magazine was the Steve Dunkelberger's The Knights of the Pythian Temple.
Oh yeah.
So there's a building not far from here, right? The Pythian Temple, and it was about the same thing, 1820 or
old,
something.
yeah.
And inside is just gorgeous. Like the inside is just this massive
they built almost like a church
inside.
So you just see like a building that looks like any other normal old school building.
Yeah.
But you go inside and it's like it looks like something out of like Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
legitimately.
giant. Literally, it's this giant hall, right, with like a sword and a Bible in the middle of it. You're like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
So,
King
gotta
Arthur.
check that
My
out.
question is,
Uh-oh.
so is this like you guys' secret scheme to like keep people you don't want out, like make the outside, just keep the outside old school?
What do you mean?
And
The
then
the building?
And then when you
think
come
some of
inside,
them-
it's
I
like
think
new.
some
yeah.
of them, yeah, it's like that best kept secret sort of thing.
Yes.
Like I've grown up here for so long, and I lived in Seattle for a while, and I met my wife there when I was living in Linwood, then in Seattle.
Okay.
And she came by super east side, like Bothell. Like so, Tacoma was this far off, terrible place that you heard of, like
Stigma,
like
yeah.
mothers
Yeah.
scare their children, saying we're going to send you to Tacoma if you're
They'd
not
be like,
good.
no!
Yeah. And for a while, it really was. The 80s and the 90s kind of sucked down here.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot better. And it comes down to that, well, there was some really cool stuff in like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and even earlier than that. And you'll see that with like the Pythian temples and all sorts of the different things. Like even just checking out like the Union Station downtown
Yeah.
or like the Rialto or like all these different old school properties. They're like, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. But there's also the stigma, and then the people, like with my wife, she, like I said, came from Bothell, where it was Seattle Freeze, people don't talk to anybody, that sort of thing.
Wow.
And she, the first time she went to a Safeway, she brought her own bags, and some person was like, "What, are you trying to make me look good, or like make us look bad and make yourself look good?" Because she's like, "No, this is what we have to do."
Yeah.
And so she was like, "I hate this place." So it took me 2 years of showing her all of that cool stuff to be like, "No, we're cool.
We're
like
cool,
this
yeah.
place is fine."
Yeah.
And it's just, it was one of those where it's hard to get into that.
Yeah.
But once you find it, it's that like, I mean, Grit City. It's
Yeah.
that tough tough
sure.
outside, and there's a nice soft, nice little nougat center.
Maybe for you, bitch. I'm just
See,
kidding.
this is what happens.
That's the Tacoma in him.
Because you try to say something nice, and they're like, "No, fuck you."
I'm just kidding. I love it here, man. This place is magical to me. I don't know.
One thing I was thinking about doing, you guys, is actually playing some of the music that you guys have
Oh,
put
yeah,
out there,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe
Hell
even
yeah.
just talking a little bit about it as we're going along.
Yes.
I brought up Pride, and if you guys are cool with us playing that one,
Oh, yeah.
Please do.
I was like, you remember that song?
a little bit of backstory about Pride as we get it going on. When did it come out?
Yes.
When did the track come out?
So Pride came out around October 30th
okay,
last year.
so it's fairly new.
Fairly
it's a couple
new. It's
couple
new.
months old.
You know, you got to let the record grow.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
it's new. It's new.
All right, let's see if we can get this started and see if I can do. Is it working? And it's not working.
Oh, it's
No, it
working.
is working. It's working. There it is.
Hey.
Hey, hey, pride's gone,
Oh, nice.
be death to
Sounds
me.
good.
Hold up.
Yeah, it sounds super.
You know you gotta guard your energy. You can't match my pedigree. Now you gotta pay a fee.
Who is
This
that?
ain't free.
Just-
What you need?
Oh, that's me.
All right.
Be the death of me. Hold up. Wait, you know you gotta guard your energy. You can't match my pedigree. Now you gotta pay a fee. This ain't free. What you need? I got too much pride, dog. I can't let you slide, dog. I hold grudges like I'm Jordan.
Drew, you look like a proud father right there.
It's a proud moment.
He's like, yeah, I made this.
You know what's hilarious?
I'm inspired.
Is to watch you guys. Is that behind us?
Yeah.
No, it's like, I'll be here.
Is to watch you guys. You guys are all on a different beat. Like you got the back beat. It's like you're going faster with the rap. I like it. Yeah, I see it.
I mean, you know, yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it.
But a little backstory to the song. I remember we were having a conversation and we were like, man, we kind of need something dope to end the year off with. So we kind of just told Drew, hey, you know, if you're feeling, we feel a little aggressive right now. We want to let out some steam. So if you could make something around that lane. And then he hit us with that beat. Then I was like, yo. And I turned to my bro and I was like, yo, I want to make a song about pride, like how the good about pride and the bad. Like a lot of our songs do have the duality, so we like to shout out like what being prideful is a good thing because you're happy about where you come from, you're happy about the things that made you, your origins, right? But then it can also be detrimental if you're too prideful. You know what I mean?
Really? No, we don't know anything, right?
Exactly, and so that's what we like to showcase.
I know, right?
Exactly. So we like to showcase that in our music, like the dualities, but still give you something that you could listen to, but something you could take away from it, and that's really what pride is about. You know? Yeah.
Don't go against me. Ben from the way, make rounds to the city like AK every day, Mayday. Until we get a payday, niggas are out there all day snooping like Dre Day. We prideful, willing to die for, proudly slide for my kinfolk. Whole city well connected, nigga. We all folk. Yes, prime time like Dion when the lights go neon. Shotgun in the homies Nissan. Windows down, screaming we young. Fuck what they all say to we young. I'll die for this dream like Martin Luther King. Try to tell them all everything what it seems. Fuck selling drugs, I'ma do my own thing.
Most of your stuff isn't this aggressive. It's not, right? It isn't.
I
right?
told you we were feeling
this
aggressive.
is a good one. I'm like, yeah, this is
We did it just for you. We're like, we're gonna be on Grit City pretty soon. We gotta be aggressive, man.
Pride's gone, be the death of me. Hold up.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
Guard your energy. You can't match my pedigree. Now you gotta
God, that
pay
beat is so fucking good.
Shout out to Drew, man.
Yeah, man. That man was in his bag.
You know, I have to give you guys, like, just as a white guy that really enjoys listening to rap, please tone down the N-words because when I sing along, it's very, I turn it way up, right? So, yeah, just kind of keep it down for me a little bit.
Hey, just be a man with some control, some self-control, and not say those words, you
Look,
dipshit.
sometimes you get into it. You can't help yourself. You're jamming, and you
Now
know.
we hear you. We
Slip
hear
and
you.
slide.
It's all about that emotion, though. Like
I get it.
It's hard to
And that's one of those things. It's like you can feel the emotion in that song,
Right.
and it's like even like you said with the duality of it.
Yeah.
It's like you can be prideful and you can be aggressive in it on both ways, and it can be good and it can be bad.
Yeah,
when
for
you're
sure.
when you're stoked about where you came from, or when you're stoked about your favorite team, or any of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then you get into the stuff where you're blind to
Exactly.
exactly what's going on and what the problem is.
There it is.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's
There
it
it
right
is.
there. You
That's
just described
exactly
the
what it
song
was.
right.
Oh, look at that.
See, man.
It's like we pay attention to this stuff.
You know what you doing, man.
Oh, what? Do I? Do I really?
Veteran.
And it's fun because, like you said, it was like one of those ones we were talking about all these different infusions, and there was another song that I really, really liked, and I got to find it now because it's in my library.
Hey.
Just so you guys know, this is new for Justin. So, yeah.
Oh, for real?
he's- Yeah.
And it's like I love
Who's your favorite band?
My
Abney
favorite-
what?
Abney Park.
Okay.
This fucking guy.
Do you guys know
Okay.
Abney Park?
I do.
Do you
yeah.
really?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
The
shit.
beat
Okay.
guy, of course, the beat guy. he knows.
Like
He
I
was
said,
expecting
I
him not
just-
to
I just
know.
listen to
None of them are
a
gonna
lot
know.
of stuff.
Really? Okay. Because
Yes.
cool. Yeah, I'm all over the place. But one of my favorite genres is steampunk.
Yeah.
Which it sounds fucking stupid, but it's amazing because a lot of the times it's the music and it's the weird influence. So this guy who's from Gig Harbor, Robert Brown, and he
Yeah.
was created. He's gone all over the world and has incorporated all sorts of world music, and he puts that into his stuff.
Yeah.
And it's in with the steampunk vibe. I'm such a fucking.
Do you go to the
dork.
Steamposium events?
I did. I went to Steamposium.
Man, there's a bond going on right
I know.
now.
I like this. I like
Hold
this.
on. His nerd is coming out.
I know.
No, it's-
and it's
come
cheesing
on.
too.
Dude,
because
hold
I
on.
do.
Ask anybody else.
I do like AV stuff, and I've
Oh,
done
it's the AV
Steamposium
stuff.
events.
Did you
So,
really?
yes.
Do you guys
So
know
I've
what
been there.
Steamposium is?
Nah.
Oh,
please,
no,
please.
you don't.
Enlighten
huh?
us.
Neither do you. It's
We're all
not.
ears right now.
Interesting.
I was really sad about this too because last year's Steamposium basically they went under, but they were
Oh, did they? They're not
did.
doing it anymore?
They're not doing it
Oh,
anymore.
bummer.
Maybe they'll come back next year. I don't know. They kind of burned a lot of bridges with it, unfortunately. But it was a steampunk convention, so it's basically steampunk is it's like Victorian era garb and all that sort of thing. But
Okay.
basically, like mixing, I know, instead of electricity, steam powered was everything. So steam and magic.
I'm gonna
So you
steal
have giant like steam like trains and mixing with like arcane technology. And it
Can I
sounds
steal Amani's line? He
Okay,
said
yeah.
it's all clockwork butlers, dude.
yeah,
So it's all butlers.
A lot of
and they have,
gears,
like,
a lot of
clocks and shit on
clockwork,
them, right?
steam powered stuff. And I totally forgot where this was going anyway.
You just
but
think what's
yeah,
Steamposium?
that's what it was.
Oh,
And
it's
so,
like a
yeah,
convention, right?
The fact. So were you doing anything there? Were you just checking out the aesthetics or what?
No, I mean like the company I used to work for, we got hired to do like all the pretty much the setups for like all that stuff. So
You
I
were
mean,
there in your
I
top
was
hat and
there.
goggles. Don't lie. I know you were nerding out, man.
No, but I mean, like I say, it was just interesting to see all the clothing
Nice.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so
everything.
think-
I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, think vintage clothing
Wow.
and then stuff with like gears and stuff just kind of stapled onto it, sort of
That sounds
stuff.
pretty awesome.
That
It
sounds
is,
dope.
like,
Nice, wild, but
like
it's
yeah,
interesting.
I
You
got,
guys are all Pacific Northwesterners, so you guys are neat. It's not neat.
no,
shut up! You don't get to drink in my. Okay. This is
No,
how,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
It
this
is
is
really
how,
cool.
This is how far I am into it. I have instead of like old white dudes having a tiki bar, I have a steampunk bar in my house. So this is kind of like at some point you guys will be able to come over to check it out because like seriously, like legit, it's fucking stupid, but it's also amazing. I love finding like old vintage stuff and stapling gears and like stuff to that.
It is actually really kind of a neat aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'll give
Wow.
it
Thank you.
My man
fucking
actually
dork.
I admitted something. I don't know.
You want him over?
Steamposium, what's up, man?
Yeah, right. So no, it was kind of amazing that you saw that because I wanted to play another song, and I think it was "Keep It Trill."
Hey.
Because this is a big difference in the sound as opposed to the other one as well.
For sure.
Let's see if I can get this rolling here. There we go.
nice.
See right there.
Yeah.
It's got like a weird funky sound to it. I like that. Reminds me of Biggie.
Hey, that's a hell of a.
Baby.
Not new, dude.
I know it. Hey, man, I love coming here, man. We gotta come.
That's just how I feel. I'm a wordsmith and all my men in black got will. Where the Ali?
Oh,
I
that's
ain't gonna question my will. We some bad boys if you ain't know this, I'ma say will. And since I gotta keep it trill, my people have been at war, so our whole life is running drills. Cold motherfuckers, how we always stay chill. I just had to keep it real, how you feel, keep it trill. And my people say preach, cause they know what it is. Chilling at the bottom, yeah, we still trying to live. Make something out of nothing, yeah, we still trying to live. As if you know we gon' live like they ain't know how to. And my people say church, that's the word.
Everybody on YouTube's just watching guys bob their heads right now. We're all just jamming.
Y'all better be in sync with it.
It's not that hard.
right?
Yeah, Jeff, give me a thumbs up. Can they hear the music? Oh, he's like talking. I said, give me a thumbs up. Can you hear the music? Nice.
Hey, he was bobbing his head too.
I know. So where did this song come from?
So this song is actually, I had talked about our first project being Spring Exceeds Winter.
Yeah.
And that's what this project came from, is really like jazz influenced, really funk influenced. And that's another one where Drew kind of approached us with that beam. We were like, this is incredible. This is something my dad would like, truly. That was kind of
Oh,
the
yeah.
influence behind the song.
Yeah.
I was like, our
Good
dad
call,
would,
yeah.
our dad would love this.
Our dad
So-
loves it. This
Yeah.
is like his favorite song
yeah,
we've
he
ever
loves it.
done.
So we actually just shot a video for this like a week ago.
Really?
For this song, yeah.
Is it
Somewhere
available
local?
on the site?
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, nice,
On
cool.
NewTrekCity.com, you can find it there. New Trek City on YouTube, you can find it there. But yeah, this song was just really supposed to be an anthem, you know, right? Something people
feels
can
like
dance
it,
to.
yeah.
And something they can feel empowered by. That's what we went for with Keep It True.
And then, like, I mean, it's a nice juxtaposition of what we just did with the last song.
Yeah.
It's like that was aggressive, and this is like seriously like something your dad would like,
Yeah.
which is not an insult. Like it's a compliment on
It's a
that end, you know.
sure.
Definitely.
My dad got hella good taste.
He knows what he's doing.
Make something out of nothing, yeah, we still trying to live. As if you know we gon' live like they ain't know how to. And my people say church, that's the word, that's the gospel. How you swear? Oh, that's gossip, that's what you heard. Oh, you mad?
And there's this crazy breakdown that comes in the beat. It's crazy. Like when you hear it, you're just like, wow. Like I felt like an angel touched me when I heard it. And Drew mixed it up or whatever, and we had the homie Elon. Shout out to Elon, right? He did his thing too on this. But yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Nice.
It was an amazing track. Amazing track.
And I mean, we're listening to it in our headphones through. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right? Yeah. I don't want to interrupt this.
Feels like heaven, man. Or like cheesecake, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh, yeah.
What kind though?
Ooh, that
Strawberry.
that cookie dough cheesecake. I don't know if you guys had that. Oh my god.
Where the hell do you get that at?
Right up the street.
Really?
Right up the street.
That's where we're going after the podcast.
Like, and then, I remember what I was trying to say there before I got distracted by that breakdown. But it was the fact that when you're listening to this, I mean, we're listening to it through my iPhone, plugged into a monitor on our headphones. Like, I feel like I need just to be playing this on just like an old school, like a turntable system to listen to that and just get that with the headphones on, as opposed to through an electronic device, through another electronic device, through all that. Like, that has that great feel with that, and you get all those all over the entire. Like, dude, like, seriously, guys.
Yeah, Beat Guy, you did a good job with
Yeah.
that. Man.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
fucking
guys.
killed that one.
But seriously, thank you guys for coming in and like talking about all this. Like, like, this is just fun to get exposed to this kind of music, which I'm not normally. I'm like, you seriously, like, I'm steampunk fucking music, and then like some like rock
Who
stuff.
would have knew?
Yeah, right.
I knew, right? Who would have known? I knew.
And so, people can find you all across like social media and stuff like that. So Instagram, it's the city.
Yep. It's the city. Yep.
Facebook is all new Track City. Twitter is New Track City 253.
Yep.
All right, cool.
253, yep.
And you can get all of that and information about the music. You've got an album actually on your website as well.
Oh yeah.
That's streaming right now.
Freedom Summer. We got Freedom Summer. We got Loose Side of the Shore. Spring Exceeds Winter. The Damn Gina tape.
That's a lot of catalog.
So much singles in between, man.
Yes.
We've been working, y'all.
Yeah,
We've been
man.
working.
And that's awesome. I mean, and seriously, like, I just pulled my stuff, the stuff that you guys on Apple Music. It's super easy. Like, first off, congratulations for being able to put yourself out there and being savvy enough to be like, it's not just about a CD. It's like you can get CDs at shows, and you can get all that merch and all that fun stuff.
Exactly.
But you got to have some sort of online presence as well.
Exactly.
And you guys are killing it. Like, seriously, you guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for coming in. When you guys got more projects coming on, please come.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let us know. We'll have you back in for
hell
anything like
yeah.
that. We want to hear about the stories about your touring. We want to hear about all the stuff that,
Hell
like, all the
yeah.
crazy stuff.
We're
And when you
here.
guys make it big, don't forget about us. All
Oh,
right.
Never.
We hear
incredible.
they
Never.
give beers, y'all. Hey man, Gritseed. Honestly though, this podcast has been one of the best ones we've done, man. It's so
cool.
therapeutic.
And look, once again, something about Tacoma.
Yeah, man.
Every time we come to Tacoma, it's a good podcast.
It's a good vibe.
Good.
people. Like,
We
y'all
try
are
to be
killing
cool.
it.
Yeah. Once you play at the alma mater, you let us know. We'll
Oh,
be
we
there.
will.
We will 100% be there.
For sure.
Definitely.
You guys, thank you so much. New Track City. Again, the website is.
AllNewTrackCity.com.
Thank you guys so much, you guys.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Much
you.
love. Grit
Peace and
City.
love, y'all. Peace and love.
Hey, man.